So, unimaginable heartbreak for Tszyu here in Las Vegas. His dream of rewriting this chapter and becoming a two-time world champion. It was not to be, but for Sebastian Fundora, finally confirmation that he is the rightful champion. Shawn Porter, Jono Brown, Pete Bedal, no cut, no blood, no excuses this time. Fundora was undoubtedly the better man.
I'll take this one personally, we have to finish the show. We gotta, keep our energy the same, but it's really hard to not feel this train ride come to a halt. Doesn't mean it's gonna end. It's just slowed down. And I'll say this as well. I'm a firm believer that you fight your way into championship contention and you have to perform your way out of title contention. I don't believe that Tszyu has fought his way out of title contention. It just doesn't go through Sebastian Fundora.
Yep.
Yeah, it was obviously so challenging for him to reach. The jab was amazing and he'd run into the left hook all the time, but it felt as if Tim was making ground. He was starting to grow in confidence, I thought, and we saw the punches both right and left. He was starting to hit with that right body shot, and then he got a couple left, and you think, he's a chance here. The big fella was tiring, so I don't know what happened in that corner. I noticed Tim stood up at the end of that round. Maybe he was just exhausted, Clete.
Well, Brownie, I'll be honest. When he got back to the corner there at the end of the seventh, I saw a look on his face that I hadn't seen before from Tim that almost said to me, I'm just about done here. I think it was maybe premature slightly, but I would have given him maybe one more round, but you've always got to put fighter welfare first, and I think he copped a lot of punishment. I still can't be critical of the corner. It would be a big talking point, but I think Fundora had the fight.
I don't know if there was anything that Tim said, but I can't speak to that feeling that you have where it's Tim as well as the team that feel almost helpless. Almost like we're doing everything that we can do and it's just not working.
We're standing up at the end of the round, just standing in the corner.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a sign, isn't it? To the corner, is that a sign that maybe a signal that I'm struggling here?
It's just the fact that nothing's working. We're doing everything that we can do and it's just not working. Now here's the thing that I like about this stoppage by the corner. You save your fighter. You prevent your fighter from going through any more physical and emotional mental damage. So hard to see, a tough call. We really don't know what that conversation was like, if at all. Maybe they saw what you saw, Pete. They just looked into his eyes and saw, well, he's hit this wall. It happens. And you hate to see it, but I feel like that's what I see. I see that he hit a wall. There's no more adjustments. There's nothing else that we can do. He's taken our best. We're done here.
Well, you absolutely saw it. You came over to me and you said, I think he's done here, Megs. Wow. I think he's absolutely done.
Yeah, wow. It was a look I saw with Jeff Horn when Tszyu ironically beat him, and Horn had just gone back to his corner and they said enough. And I saw a similar thing there with Tim. But I've got to say, to me, team, if Tim wants to rebuild his career, and it could be a 1 or 2 year rebuild, he needs to fix his defence, because this is the 4th time he's gone down in the 1st or 2nd round. Wade Ryan dropped him early in his career. Right. Terrell Gachet dropped him.
Right.
This is now Murtazalayev dropped him, and now this. So, Shawn, you're the boxer, you're the champion. He's got to fix his defensive technicalities if he wants to survive in this sport.
I think early in the fight, those are just jitters. Those are just, I have to get my feet wet. It's like literally like getting into the pool. You have to slowly work your way in all at once. And a lot's coming at you. Sometimes you're just not ready for those big punches that come. And I think that happens to be the case. But at the end of the day, he has to have a tighter guard. We don't see head movement back and forth, right? So he's a stationary target. And that's the biggest problem. And I told Brownie, I have a big problem with his team. They didn't prepare him for a 6'7", 8 guy. The way you stay safe against that is staying on the outside. You don't stay on the end of the punch. That's where all of the power is.
And why wasn't he moving to the left more? Like he was moving to the right, which is right into the hitting zone for the southpaw.
Yeah, and obviously, Brownie, you know that when you move to the left against the southpaw, you move yourself away from the left hand, which is the power hand, but you also offset the angles. It's this small, minute thing that we can't see to the eye, but fighters, we know, just this small, like, inch to the left, and we're in line for a big punch, and our opponent is offline for that big punch. So those are just technical errors.
Give us a a sense of how Tim would have been feeling in that first round when he was knocked down? I mean, it would have brought up all kinds of things, we can only imagine.
Excuse my language, but oh shit. And you know, the way he got up like, okay, I have to answer this. Yeah. He didn't get up like, damn, I'm down here, I gotta get up. You know what I mean? He got up with the kind of energy that it almost deflated him a little bit, you know? And
because he's been there before, and he hasn't been able to get out of that situation before.
It's the oh shit, not again. You know what I mean? So
that's what it felt like.
And Shawn, the one concern for Tim has always been the centre line, that he doesn't move his head enough, and he's too much of a target, and he's going to have to address that if he wants to survive in this sport for the next few years. But I still think there's talk about big fights against
I'm sorry, but let's. I'm sorry. I just really wanted to analyze that real quick, because you can see him move back. Look, you see him move back into that punch. That's how that punch lands, because he moves back and right in line. I'm sorry.
And let's give some credit here to Fundora, because I think when he fought Tim the first time, he was coming off the Mendoza loss.
I don't feel like giving him credit right now.
Hey, I love how you so. You become an Aussie.
This one's personal, y'all.
But there would have been some demons for Fundora after his loss against Mendoza. So he was a little bit tentative in the first fight, but I saw more aggression this time, more punches in bunches, and he took control early. So it was a good win for him.
Would that have surprised him, you think, him coming forward more, Fundora? Do you think that would have caught Tim off guard, that Fundora was quite keen to come forward early in the fight? As opposed to staying on the outside?
I think they should have expected him to come forward, because he's a come forward fighter. However, you just have to. You gotta read it all, you have to analyze it all. So you go and you take a look at the last fight, and you see, okay, he was jabbing us, he was staying on the outside. This is something that he might do, you know? I don't know, man. I got a problem with the team on this one. I know that it's Tim and they're doing it, but I just don't think he was given all of the tools that he needed to get past Sebastian Fundora.
What's it feeling like now in the room?
Oh man, the room is devastated. The room really doesn't want to get on the plane. The room is not going to sleep for a little while.
Well, I'm told he's backstage with the doctor at the moment. But I suppose in hindsight, Pete, was he even ready for this rematch? You know, we did wonder after the Joey Spencer fight if that was enough of a test. Was Tim ready to go up levels and levels to take on someone like Fundora? As we look backstage now and we see Tim walk into his room, does this suggest that perhaps he wasn't ready?
Well, Megan, after that loss in Orlando, and we were there, Shawn was there, I said at the time it was a 2-year rebuild for me before he got to a world title shot again. So credit to No Limit. When the opportunities are there, you have to take them at this level. You can't say no to a world title fight. I still feel another fight after Spencer may have been the best option, but it's easy to say now in hindsight.
You're not going to knock back an opportunity to get your belt back, right?
Correct. But Shawn, can I ask this? You made a good point about the tools that the team needs to give him. What does he need to do? Because there wasn't enough body work tonight from Tim. What does he need to do to improve as a fighter?
You need in-game preparation for a Sebastian Fundora, and what I mean by that is you step up to a 6'1" guy. You find a no-name 6'1" guy, you do it in Australia, and you get him acclimated to fight night scenario against a taller opponent. And then you try to find a 6'3", 6'4" guy. You inch your way up to that. That's how you truly get ready for a guy of that nature. In the gym, sparring is not just enough, especially when you have someone who can't exactly emulate a southpaw standing at the height that Sebastian Fundora stands at. And also beyond that, they played the outside game too much. And I could tell his body, his natural reaction was to go back. And it's what we say in boxing, when you pull back, you put yourself in danger. Doesn't matter how tall you are, doesn't matter how big you are. I promise you guys, I could be fighting against a guy who's half my size. When you stand in front of that guy and you pull straight back, you pull back into the line. So to me, that was the thing that really needed to be cleaned up.
Going back watching the tape, how will he view it when he sees it? Because you'll see on the tape what we saw that he was starting to make some ground on Fundora. Right. He hurt Fundora a couple of times. Right. And I think there could be regret when he looks at that and realises, actually, I wasn't that far away. Yeah. Because he wasn't blown off the park, was he? When he knocked over in the first, he wasn't blown off the park and embarrassed.
The fight I had with Terrence Crawford. I was very much so in that fight. In a lot of ways, I could have been winning that fight. I hit a wall. I went down once. I was a little shook up. Hit that wall. Went down again. And I was very shook up after the second go down. You know, you get to a point where it's almost like I can't go any further. I think that that's what he was feeling. I think that he will look at that and say, well, you know, I was landing this, I was landing that, but he's also going to remember, well, he was still big, he was still strong, he was still tall, he still had a lot more in the tank as well. So I understand it entirely, and I can give some credit to Sebastian Fundora now. I think I'm talking my way to that point. He is. He's remarkable in a lot of ways. He uses what he has, and he's seeming to find a way against almost everyone.
And you know, he didn't have to take this fight because he had a mandatory fight against Xander Zayas, and he gave up the WBO belt to take this fight and honour the rematch clause. So some credit to Fundora, but I'll say with Tim, it was a good point you made, Shawn, and a good point, Brownie, too, about the cold start from Tim. He just never got going, and when he got dropped early, then the momentum shifts. It gives Fundora a whiff of confidence, a whiff of blood, and I just think if Tim can overcome those slow starts, he can rebuild. But Shawn, is he finished at the top level, or can he fight back?
He's not finished at the top level. It's like I said, he's just not going to be able to beat Sebastian Fundora. He'll more than likely never ever see Sebastian again unless he continues to be in this thing for another, 3 years, and he's able to truly work his way back. But then that's another situation where you got guys coming up, other guys moving and things of that nature. He can still get it done. He can still get it done against elite guys. It's going to happen back in Australia for a little while. And when he comes back, there's no telling what that name is going to be yet. But I don't believe Tszyu is done on the world stage, primarily because he still fought very hard, very courageously. And we're now in the sport where it's about who you bring to the stands, not not what your status is, your wins and your losses.
What do you think the timeline is? I mean, we sat in Orlando, as you said a moment ago, you said it'll take 2 years of rebuilding and domestic fights. You know, is that the blueprint now for Tim to get back to this level?
I think the worst thing now, Megan, would be to jump in with a Keith Thurman, because that was supposed to be the next opponent if he won today, and there's always been talk about it this year. I think that would be a disaster if he fought Keith Thurman. It'd end his career. I think for Keith Thurman to put him away. So now it has to be delicate, it's got to be slow, put him in a bit of cotton wool, give him some time out, bring him back against some lower-ranked international opponents, perhaps. I think he's better than a domestic fighter. But Brownie, maybe some international opponents, get his ranking up again, keep it there in the world rankings, and then slowly rebuild.
Yeah, it's like Shawn says, it's the experience, that's the challenge for the Aussie fighters, isn't it? Just because we don't have the sparring, we don't have the amount of sparring or the level of sparring over in Australia, which makes it a bit more challenging too, Shawn.
Right. Yeah, that too. I wish the camp was done here in the States. If it's done here in the States, you're able to move around with different guys. You know, I know they have Michael Fox come over. Shout out to Michael Fox, but at some point you just need something different. You can't get used to the same routine with the same guy, looking that guy in the face. So yeah, I mean, you know, in hindsight, there was a lot of things I think that they know they can change. I don't know, maybe you take another shot, another big shot in 2 years. I don't think Keith Thurman is there in 2 years. Terrence Crawford's not there in 2 years. I'm not exactly sure who it is at 154.
You know, I hate to say it, but is there a chance that there are some demons there from what's happened over the last year? Some demons that he may not be able to get past?
We have to assume that there are. And I don't know, fellas. I really don't. I can't call this one. I do believe he performed at a level that dictates he can come back to this level. We just don't know what the timeline is.